Well, back to videos. Yay. Feels like normal a little bit again for me. Um, Today we're going to be talking about what's called probability. That's our next big topic. It's not really that big because it's pretty easy for the most part. But that is our topic, and it won't take us too long. So what is probability? It is simply finding out the chances that an event will occur. And this would be anything from 0% chance up to 100% chance. But in statistics, which is again kind of the topic of our second semester, in statistics we don't use percentages. They actually convert them back to decimals. All right, so there's some formatting and some terminology that might be a little bit different than what you're used to, but it's not anything crazy. All right, so what we want to do is we want to say the P, that stands for probability, of some event, and then it can equal anything from 0.00 up to 1.00. Again, everything's in decimal form. It's the same as the percentages. Again, things have just been converted back into the decimal format. So again, for the main part, we're talking about anything from 0 to 1. And we'll talk in the next couple of days about what those numbers mean and what things fall towards 0, what things fall closer towards 1. There's just some terminology for that as well. But for today, we're just going to be doing some of the basic calculations. All right, so the next thing we need to know about, we need to know, again, what's an event? All right, an event would be anything with multiple possible outcomes. And so obviously the easy things to talk about would be things like flipping a coin. Well, you could get heads or you could get tails. So the single flip of a coin would be an event. All right, it happens one time. It's a single moment. It doesn't matter what happened before or what happens after. It just matters what happens at this exact moment or this exact trial, if you're talking some more statistics. But again, it's called an event. And you're going to have possible outcomes. Now, sometimes one of the outcomes is impossible to actually happen. Again, I can't think of an example off the top of my head. We'll get to that a little bit more. It's a lesson coming up later in probably Monday, I think. We'll talk more about what kind of events have zeros and what kind of events have ones. Those would be the two opposite ends of the scale. But for today, we're going to be talking about everything kind of in between, the more realistic stuff. So, again, let's take a look at some examples of what work could look like today. You might, again, say, for example, that you have in your closet, you have 4 pairs of jeans, and you've got 5 pairs of sweatpants, because I love sweatpants. I don't know about you. And we'll go ahead and say this is a guy, so no leggings or anything like that. Again, I'm a dude, so I'm kind of thinking from that perspective. So anyway, no leggings, but 4 jeans, 5 sweats, and let's say you got 3 pairs of shorts. And I want to know, what are the chances that you kind of blindfold yourself, you reach into your closet and you come out, and what are the chances that you say, pick out sweats? So you reach in, grab them out, maybe you're even doing laundry and you've got all of them washed, and you reach into the dryer, what's the chances that the first thing you pull out is a pair of sweats? All right, so when doing this, what we want to do is we want to set up a probability, and again, in this part, we would call it probability of our event, picking out some sweats. All right, it's going to be equal to, and it's going to write it out in words first, the denominator, which is the total possible outcomes. That means how many different things are there to choose from. And then the top would be a winning event. All right, how many of them are there? How many of them are the ones that we want? Call them winning events. It's not really the official term. It just makes sense. All right, so for this particular one, the probability of us picking out some sweats would be, well, there's 5 pairs of sweats, and then total possible, we'd have to go back and add up the total numbers of items, and there'd be 12 items. All right, so you're going to go ahead and get your calculator out. All right, so on your calculator, you're going to take 5 divided by 12, and I got 0.416 repeating. So that's my probability, 0.416. Now, if you're wondering how many decimal places to leave, well, there's not a set answer to that. There could be different answers to that question, depends on the situation. For the most part, I would always say that if you're in doubt, 2 decimal places is the common. So if you're ever unsure about how many decimal places to leave, if you put 2, I will always be happy with that. So on this one, if you had you could have put 0.42. All right, that would be the rounding version, using that 6 to round up. Or if you had put 0.41. That's called truncating. It's where you just drop off any extra numbers that you didn't use because you didn't want those decimals. So again, there's 2 options, rounding or truncating. So whichever one's easy. I wouldn't count either one wrong. I would call all of those answers correct. Again, you've sailed that first semester. If you're in the right ballpark, you're good. I'm not going to be too stressing over something like a decimal point. So anyway, that's the basic idea of your work today. If you need any help, the Zoom will always be open. But again, I know some of you have unique schedules, and this does help having the videos. So I'll continue to do this during the second semester as much as possible. All right, have a good one. Good luck.